Hey designers, we have all watched the same video. AI generates UI from a prompt. Galileo, Google Stitch, UIZard, Figma Make, Lovable, they all kind of do the same thing. You type in a prompt and you get a pretty screen. You say, wow, this is awesome. You smile for 2 seconds and then nothing really happens. You really can't use it because here's the part that nobody talks about. Pretty mockups don't ship as scalable products. At some point, you got to open Figma, create those edge cases, create those flows, create those extra UX patterns, and you got to hand it off to a developer. So that's the real process that works in a production app. So when Flowstep reached out and said, we do this differently, honestly, I rolled my eyes for a second. I heard this line before as well, but actually when I tried it, there are 3 things that they did differently and that stood out for me. So yeah, this video is sponsored by Flowstep, so a big shout out to them. But stick around because the second and the third one are really amazing. You got to check it out. So as you see, this is the Flowstep's website, and here they say that from concept to clarity. So they show some examples here and you can get started quickly for free without any credit card. Once you sign up, this is the screen you'll end up on where you can see that it's just a pretty normal chatbot kind of an interface where you can give it a prompt and get started. It'll start generating screens for you. And then you also have your files that you've already generated. So if you're just looking for brainstorming new ideas for your app, then you can just give it a prompt and get started on different ideations to see how the UX patterns and the screens should turn out to be. But if you're looking to create a real production app, then I would suggest you go with a proper process. That is getting started with a Design.md file. So if you're not aware of it, check out my previous videos. I've detailed about it on how it is used and what is the best advantages that it provides. But yeah, in short, Design.md is nothing but a well-documented file of all your style guides, your brand tone, your UI aesthetics, and everything related to your UI kit. It's a well-documented file and you can just give it a basic one. I've just created one for myself here. But if you want something that you want to modify it from the top companies, you can go to getdesign.md and these are a list of all these top companies. So here you can see that BMW, Apple, all these are the documented design style guides. So here you can see this is the live preview of the design system, but I can jump to the design.md and here you can see that every colors, the primary colors, the fonts being used, the font weight, the spacing, everything is very well detailedly explained here. And there's another website as well, which is a neoform.ai. Here as well, you can see these different themes. And if you like a particular theme, just click on it and on the right you can just copy the design.md from here. So that is how we can get a design.md. But coming back here, so like I mentioned, you got to start with the design.md. So I'll come here, start a new file. So instead of directly jumping into prompt, what I'm doing is create a new file, and here I have edit design guidelines. So here I'm just going to paste the design.md that I've created. So here I'm just telling that this is the app's name, the brand voice that I'm looking for, the primary colors, the personality and things like that. So very simple one. But like I mentioned, you can give it a very detailed one like this as well, like you see for Apple here. But yeah, let me just save this, and that is going to set the design guidelines for whatever UI that I'm going to generate here. And for the prompt, I already have created a short prompt here, a very simple one, nothing detailed. But yeah, you can also put in your PRDs, a very detailed document which contains all the user stories, and that will be a very good context for Flowstep to visualize things and come up with better UI here. So for that, you can just attach a file here. So you can just give it your PRD and different screenshots. And if you're looking for something from Dribble, you can just paste in all those information here and it will start analyzing it with that whole context. But for now, I'm just going to give it a very simple prompt here. So design a habit mood tracking app called Tideline and the different UI aesthetics that I'm looking for and the functionality part right here. So that being said, I'm just gonna run this and now it's gonna analyze the prompt here and it's gonna generate a couple of screens here. But the best part about Flowstep is that it can generate multiple screens. So what I've seen in other tools like Figma Make and Google Stitch, at the max they try to create like 2-3 screens, but Flowstep exceeds this. At some cases when I asked it for a specific flow, it has generated like 9 to 10 screens at one go. So for each of the screens, it's gonna deploy an AI agent and create the screen here. So like other tools, I've seen that this generates better flows, which is actually needed for a production app. Like the other ones, they create screens which are very disconnected. Aesthetically, maybe they're good, but from one screen to another, they don't make sense. So there is no continuity of the user stories that's happening there. User journeys gets broken. But what I've noticed with Flowstep is that the journey is very well maintained. So right now you can see that it is getting generated in real time. I have 5 screens getting created generated here. And here you can see that I suppose this would be the onboarding screen. So I asked it for onboarding and a home screen and a couple of other screens as well. So that is what it's trying to generate here. Let me just quickly fast forward this part. All right, there you go. It has generated the screens that I've requested it for. So let's just zoom in and take a look at this. Is it perfect? Yeah, I think it has done a pretty good job, but it's not perfect. There are some small UI glitches here and there. But overall, you can see that the consistency is really great. But as you can see, these are just 5 screens and I just can't hand this off to a developer and say, build this for me and you're done with your design job. So that is not how it works. And that is why all these different tools that I mentioned are not good for creating production level designs. So for that reason, once you have this flow, if you are a general designer, what you do is just start creating the other flows as well. So if it was Figma, I could just come in here and start creating the other flows, or I could come here and make tweaks to these. For example, I can do that here as well. So if I don't want this card, I can just delete it and that goes away. I can add things to this. If I want to duplicate this particular card, I can do that as well. So you can see that I can duplicate these. If I don't want a screen, I can delete it. And if I want to add some title to this, I can add it as well. So this is, let's say, the onboarding flow, or let's say the first time. So I want to create another flow as well. So let's say in this case, I would say that I want to create adding a habit. So you saw that we have the habit tracker here. So there is an option to track the habits, but there's no option to add a new habit. So for that reason, I'm going to come here and let's say add habit flow. So this is a new flow. So if it was Figma and you're a designer, you would just put this here. All right, I can change the font and everything works. So I can increase the width. So this is a new flow that I want to generate here, and this one stays as it is. So right now I just created a new prompt for it where I want to create a flow for adding the habit. So I'm just going to paste it here and let's say send this message, and now it's going to generate this flow for us. So with other platforms that you see, it just creates disconnected screens. But if you had to actually hand this to a developer, you need to create a full flow, and that includes the full flow on each and every screen, the data or input getting collected, and then you got to create those edge cases because every time it's not a happy flow that happens, and all that is what becomes the final output for a scalable product. So there you go. I just asked it for a particular flow, and this time it has generated 6 screens here. But like I mentioned, it also generates up to 9 to 10 screens. I don't know what is the max limit, but it depends on the prompt and the user journey you're looking at. So based on that, it can generate multiple screens in one go. So yeah, let's see how this turns out to be. I'm just gonna fast forward this part again in the interest of time. All right, there you go. So let me just select these screens right here and add it to the flow that we just mentioned here. So pretty screens, there are multiple tools that can generate it, but thinking about a flow and creating the full user journey here is really amazing. So this is the add habit flow. So here you can see that they have created an empty state where there are no habits, and then you get started with the first habit. And before that, even the aesthetics, you can see that it's following the very same exact design system that it's been following, the calm aesthetic look and feel that I'm looking for. And the kind of small illustrations that it has added is really beautiful. And here you can see that there's an add habit flow. You start with a habit, given your details, choose an icon. All these icons you can see, and it has the full context that it needs an icon here, and there's a color to it, so that is also being captured. And then you have the reminder, timing and everything. And once you save it, there is a small animation to show that this is processing, and then your habit gets added, and then you can see that habit is added here to the list of the final habits here. So that is how it creates all these states, and then you can also go ahead and say what are the error cases or edge cases. So let's also quickly try that. So once we asked for it, it is giving all the possible error cases. So form validation, like habit name is being left blank, and reminder permission denied, and all those different possible cases. And then finally it's asking me, do you want me to generate all these cases? So yeah, I'll just fast forward this part and we'll see what it ends up with. Wow, there you go guys. The edge cases are also created. So I'm just going to place it below right here where I've said edge cases. And if I can zoom in, this is exactly the edge cases that I have mentioned it to create. So an empty state, it is saying that give your habit name, even a small one counts. So those are like really good, well-written UX copy as well, based on the brand tone that I've given it in the Design.md. And all these edge cases where these are left empty. And this is for in case where you already created a morning stretch habit set here. So it's trying to give it that UX copy here, and all those different use cases or edge cases that you mentioned is all done and ready to go. And I can keep going on and creating this full app that I'm planning or envisioning of the product. I can just ask it for different use cases, different user journeys, and it's going to keep creating. So if you just go on like that, you have got your screens ready on Flowstep. Now what? So you'll probably want to take this into Figma. So if you're going with a standard app development process, there are some tweaks that you really want to make because every tool is not perfect and AI is still catching up there. As you can see, it has done really a good job, but as a designer, even if Flowstep does 80-90% of the work, you want to take control over it and do the remaining 10% that makes a difference as a UX designer. And Flowstep doesn't limit you there, and that's the best part. And this is going to blow your mind. Just wait. So I don't have to use any plugins or anything. Just select a particular screen that you want to copy or a group of these and do a simple copy, a Command C or Control C. I'm just doing a Command C right here. Or you can also have the option export to Figma, which is just copying this and putting it into your clipboard. And once it copies to your clipboard, all you got to do is just come to Figma. So I'm just going to hop on to Figma right here. And all I got to do is paste. So Control V or Command V, and you should be able to get the exact thing that you saw there. So there you go. This complete screen is editable. So this is the frame that you can see, and I can choose each and every object here. I can go ahead and remove this from here or add different colors if I want to extract a particular color or change a particular color. Everything is possible. I'm going to duplicate this. All this is completely editable with full auto layout. Just copy and paste it to Figma is the most amazing feature that I've seen here. No plugins, no exporting, importing the file. Just create these brainstorm ideas, copy it, bring it into Figma, and then just tweak it around and hand it off to your developer. So that's how easy it is, and that's the most amazing thing I saw on Flowstep. But yeah, once you have created this, honestly, if you stopped watching here, you would already have a complete workflow as a designer. You would prompt in Flowstep, take it to Figma, polish it there, and hand it off to your developers, and that's done. But if you really want to take it a step ahead, that is what the third thing here which Flowstep has, is that the UI is also code. So all what you see here is not actually screens or images that you see. All this is just pure code, and all you got to do is, if you want to take it to production, just click on a particular screen and you can see the options here which says export to code, and I can just click on this and it will download this file as a zip file here. You can also use the MCP that Flowstep provides, and you can use the MCP and connect it to your AI tool of choice, be it Claude Code, be it Cursor. You can just connect it and you can pull in all these contexts directly there and start generating the screens. So I don't even need to jump into Figma if that is the kind of workflow you're looking. So if you're a non-designer and you want to create your app and have the best UX for it, this is the approach I would recommend. You come to Flowstep, start with a proper Design.md file. You can also use Claude or anything to generate a Design.md file. Just give it your preferences. What kind of a feel that you're looking for your app? What is the kind of brand tone that you want? And then Claude will spit out a good Design.md file. You can come here, paste it here, and then give it all your functionality that you're looking for and generate flow by flow, create all the user journeys. And once you're done with that, just use the MCP server that Flowstep provides. So basically this can pull in all the context that it needs. It can also generate files and create files and everything. They have got all the tools that are required. And with that, you can actually export this and generate your whole production level app with this, and you can go live with this. Honest verdict time, because that's why you're here, to understand the capabilities of this tool. So Flowstep is not trying to replace Figma directly, and I think that's the right call. So Figma is still there for like serious tweaking. So probably Flowstep can help you get up to 70% or 80% done. And as UX designers, you really want to get in and tweak in those small UX patterns that actually make a difference and add some delight to it. And that's where you as a subject matter expert in UX can pitch in and complete that remaining 20 or 30%. But as a non-designer, I wouldn't even ask you to jump into Figma. You can, like I mentioned, directly jump from Flowstep into your AI tool of choice and just get started with the project. So yeah, that's all about Flowstep, and that's my honest take on it. I would definitely ask you to give it a try. You can try it for free, so there's a link in the description. Go give it a try and share what you've created on LinkedIn. And once again, thanks to Flowstep for sponsoring this video. And as always, if you're interested in more such AI design videos, do subscribe and follow the channel, and I'll catch you with the next one.